Here we are, Danny, John, Tim. We're missing Fidel. He'll be here hopefully for our next episode the following weekend. But we will keep him filled in on how this episode goes. I'm sure he'll see it. But yeah, we just wanted to do a quick little intro, just as a group first. We've been friends for quite some time. We'll go over individual, intros ourselves too. But, we have this group chat going. It's been going on for years now. And, there's always just a bunch of banter. We always have the same interests. We just really keep each other looped in. And, we all support different teams in different sports. So it keeps it all the more fun. We just kind of wanted to come on here and, make a podcast out of it. Hopefully it'll turn into something great. But at least we'll have a fun time doing it no matter the outcome. So, here we are. And if one of you guys wants to start on.
Yeah. And with that, Tim, what I wanted to share sort of with it, we decided to do this, and I think it's a good way for us to stay connected because, like I said, we all live separately. We all have like different lives. And, we started this, I want to say it was 4 years ago, like the height of COVID. Remember, we were all just gaming. We have a big group of friends of like 20 of us. We do fantasy football every year as a group of friends, but we had this tight little group of, 5 of us that would be gaming. We'd game from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. at times.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
We created a separate little messaging group because we didn't want to disturb everybody with our gaming stuff, sports stuff. But it's really what brought the show on. I think we all enjoyed it. I know sometimes I'd get out of work and I'd see like 200 text messages just from this group of conversations on sports, the banter, whatever's going on, Drake Lamar when that was happening, So
and I remember doing that first, not really the first, but we're doing a fantasy draft. I think it was at Rob's house, one of our buddies' houses.
Yeah.
And he I was like, yeah, I was playing Call of Duty last night. And they're like, what? You're not in the group yet? What are you talking about? So they adopted me into the group, and I appreciate that. And look where we are now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's another thing that, you just hit on there, Daniel, with, the fantasy, we've been going at that for years and years. It's always been, super competitive, and a ton of fun. We have a lot of live drafts now, as Sean made the point of, we're all kind of living separately, as times went on. But we still
blame
do,
you, Tim.
Yeah, I guess I went furthest away besides mine. But blame me. But yeah, no, I mean, we still keep it lively, and that's the biggest thing is that, even moving apart, we're still great friends and, keep in contact, and that's what's, most important. So yeah, it's always been fun.
Yeah. So I think, to share with everybody watching, whoever is watching, this first episode, and to those that do watch, thank you. We appreciate that because, we're just here trying to have fun, enjoying this. But we'll be talking about a lot of stuff, like Tim mentioned, sports, entertainment, music, whatever is, hot topics out, in the world. And we're going to try to do this weekly. I think if this starts hitting, we start getting success, these fans that want to see more, we'll be doing more shows as well.
Absolutely.
So definitely. I would say first few times, give us some time. We're learning all how to edit, how to do all this.
Still adapting,
So we might be the Windows 95 of editing so far. But,
yeah,
we'll get up there.
It was like MS-DOS or something like that.
Yeah. So.
But, bear with us at first. And, as Sean said, hopefully it's something weekly. Certainly we'll put out, little snippets here and there of different things. Hopefully this is something we can turn into, going to events, just having, experiences like that as well. I think that would just be a ton of fun.
Yeah, some cool video vlogs. I know, John, you went to a lot of concerts. So that's pretty cool. It's cool to see in our group text, and then, it's just really cool, exciting, man. We all have great lives, and we all like to have a lot of fun, man. So it's cool to share that with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I guess I'll start off, on the individual side. I'm glad that we took a moment to kind of explain us as a group. My name's Tim, and You know, I personally have a large passion for, you know, sports, entertainment, like movies, you know, music. Probably don't listen to as much music as I should, but you know, I still enjoy it, you know, and anything that's new. You know, I have a wife, met her in high school. We now have two wonderful children, boy and a girl. So they occupy, you know, much of our life. So, you know, being able to take the time, you know, that she allows me to come on here and you know, do something like this and, you know, do something fun that, you know, lets me, you know, kind of get a little corner of the house here and get away from it for a second, you know, and kind of talk, you know, some other passions. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm John, aka Pina. I think that's what everybody's been calling me since childhood. Nobody could say my last name, you know, when I was a younger kid, so Pina got stuck. So that's what I go by. You know, a lot of similar interests as Tim. You know, sports, video games, movies for me. You know, something I enjoy going to concerts, events, things like that. Personal life, you know, been married 10 years to my wife Vera. We met in Vegas. You know, I used to be a partier going to Vegas every other week with all the guys, you know, that had to retire nowadays. You know, we got one kiddo, amazing kiddos, you know, new father, barely, you know, 16 months. So just living life, enjoying it. So
And I'm Daniel. Man, where do I start? I'm a football fan for sure. Barely dabbling into the MLB. So much to learn there. That's big sport, man. That's a big sport. But no, man, just started recently following NBA. I love sports myself. And you know, big soccer fan, big football fan, and I myself am also married as well. Similar to Tim, actually, high school sweethearts with my wife. I've been together 17 years. Today's actually our wedding anniversary.
Ooh, nice, congrats!
And, well, happy anniversary! Hey,
she's just like, you know, and I appreciate her for that, you know, because she's just like, yeah, go do your thing, man. Like, it's just, you know, also give me this little corner of my house, giving me that space. She's just like, oh yeah, do it, have fun with your friends, you know. We have more, you know, we spend all weekend together.
Yeah.
You deserve this. So we have two kids as well. They're a little bit older. One's 10, the other one's about to be 5. So definitely both boys keep me very, very occupied, have me coaching them soccer. But no, it's a lot of fun, man. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing, you know, if our wives are watching, you know, thank you for letting us do this, you know.
Yeah,
you guys are all out there
Yes.
taking care of the babies, taking care of the kiddos, you know, putting them to sleep, cleaning the house, you know, for us to do this for, you know, an hour, 2 hours a day, you know, once a week, you know, we appreciate it. You know, it's a team effort, and you know, if this gets big, they'll be a lot happier than, you know.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah, no, they're a wonderful support system for us, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and then
no.
And I was gonna say, you know, we got our other group member. Unfortunately, he had an emergency today, but Fidel, you know, he's been, you know, me and him, we've been buddies since kindergarten, you know, and we have this out of our group of friends. There's a few of us since kindergarten. We've known each other, grown up together. So, you know, he'll be here next week. Hopefully everything's going well with him. But yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Something that you'll find in common. Fidel and I were both big on like Pokemon cards. We love Pokemon cards. I think we're the oddballs out when it comes to that, but that's another fun hobby, expensive too, that we like.
Yeah.
And another thing, you know, me and Phil really get along well, you know, with Dodgers and Giants. So, you know, it's always a charming back and forth. And I'm sure, you know, we'll all experience a little bit of that here.
Yeah, you had access to that group chat. It gets interesting sometimes.
Yep.
Oh, it can. Absolutely. I don't have much talking rights these days, though, with how our teams are doing. But, you know, I'll hold my own.
Just don't show up to Dodger Stadium. Every time Tim goes to a Dodger game with us, the Giants always win. So he's officially uninvited. I'll say that here in the first podcast.
You know what? I'll take it. You know, and you know, I've suffered through the through the booze and, you know, people wanting to fight in the bleachers of Dodger Stadium. You know, I was just tell them, you know, I really enjoyed that Carl's Jr. You know, during the game, because that's the best food they got right now, I think. I'm sure it got a lot better now. I think they redid it, but I'm just hating. But yeah, no, you know, outside of that, did we want to kind of jump into, you know, we're kind of going to transition to something we want to call like our hot topic, you know, segment, where we're each, you know, kind of discussing something that, you know, might be big to, you know, one of us, and we just want to get somebody else's opinion on it. Maybe it's big in the world, you know, no matter the topic. And, you know, I'll let John touch on it as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, our first segment, yeah, it's the hot topics. You know, we'll always bring something to the table, just what we want to discuss, you know, argue about a little bit, get feedback, you know, and also just share about our passion with it. You know, there's always new things coming up. But yeah, you know, I could get started. And for me, you know, it's really one thing I wanted to bring up is summer movie blockbusters. Like I went to the movies yesterday, you know, my mom was able to watch the kiddo during the day. Early movies, best because they're cheap, you know, $6 instead of like the 18, whatever it is. So, but we watched Furiosa, and you know, I gotta say, I enjoyed it. It's a good movie, you know. George Miller directing, you know, I've always enjoyed those type of movies. So, but some of the summer blockbusters I wanted to bring up, see what you guys think, if you guys are interested in it, you know, excited for it, or just like nah. One of them that I keep on seeing previews about is a Quiet Place, Day One.
Yes.
You guys seen those?
I just saw that preview today, actually.
Yeah.
No, that looks really good. The first one was fantastic, and you know, it's just, I mean, kind of just has you on the edge of your seat the entire time. It's suspenseful. Yeah, I can't imagine being that quiet, to be honest with you. But
that's what, like, that's one of the movies, like the crazy experiences ever in a movie, because it's just like a quiet movie. There's not much noise, you know. You make a sound in the movie theater, you sneeze, cough, everybody's gonna hear it. Where other times, you know, you're opening those chips, you always wait till like there's that action event to like eat it, go and crunch.
Even the popcorn, that even the popcorn, regular
popcorn.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in movies, you know, kind of side note on the noise, you know, obviously they give you like you know, a drink from like a dispenser, and everybody has their own cup, but I always just die of laughter inside whenever I hear somebody crack open a can of something, because you know, you know, they snuck that in.
You gotta do it in the previews in the at the beginning, you know, you have to do it.
That's absolutely. Or you know, you can just be, you know, badass and just do it
no shade, huh?
No shade. You're the only one in there, I guess. But yeah, no, that movie overall, it's kind of like the, I guess, like the origin story, right? It's kind of how it all started.
The prequel, right?
The prequel to the first two.
Gotcha.
I heard a lot of mixed feelings about that movie, though. A lot of people say like, "Oh, it's really good," and you hear some, they're like, I don't know, it just didn't hit the same." But I know there were some actors that changed in the prequel as well, right?
And you know, that's the thing for me. Like, you know, I read the reviews, and some of the reviews are always sometimes pretty bad, and I'm like, but then I'm like, I'm interested in it. When I watch it, I enjoy it, you know, and that's why I watch the movies. Like I said, I'm never going to say I'm a big critic, because I can't really criticize movies on certain things, because sometimes the story I enjoy, you know, and it's sort of leading to like the next movie is like these comic book movies. Like nowadays, people don't really like him because they say they're just not on par, but I still go watch them because I just enjoy them. You know, they're cool to watch, and just a big fan of comics and those comic book characters. So like Deadpool, Wolverine, like that's one I'm really excited about seeing.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of comedy in those Deadpool movies too. So I mean, I mean, really all of them too. You know, Marvel, you're always getting a laugh in there, and you know, it's so much fun to follow. The storyline is
Yeah.
always so great, and you're always bummed out when the story ends, or they can't keep going with it. So yeah, no, that would be one I'm definitely excited for too. The only problem is I don't think Theo, my 6-year-old, is is quite
not
ready
quite
to see
ready
that.
yet.
But maybe if wifey and I can sneak away,
Yeah.
Little
it'd be a
date
good one
night,
to
man,
watch.
doesn't hurt.
Hey,
Oh,
yeah, we got some family nearby, you never know.
yeah.
There you go. I
Absolutely.
saw the trailer. As soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, "Oh man, this movie's it. This
Yeah.
movie's it." It just
Mhm.
hit. It just hit so different, man.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking about this the other day too, when it comes to some of these action movies, like Spider-Man's a good example of it, when they change actors for who plays Spider-Man over
Mhm.
the series.
Mhm.
Does that kind of conflict with you guys as far as like wanting to go see the next one, or does it kind of derail you a little bit? Does it get you more excited?
I've been more excited just because when I feel like when they do that, it's a brand new story. So, how Marvel
Yep.
has those, different universes, that's the way I sort of see it. I always enjoyed the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans.
Mm-hmm.
And then
those are the best.
yeah, I think those are the OG, the best ones. And then when Andrew Garfield ones came out, I was a little hesitant, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm bummed I didn't see more of those, because I think they could have continued with that.
Yeah, and I see it the same
Absolutely.
way too. I was like the different universes, right, and
Yeah.
all that. So I go in there with like a clear mind. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good, And sometimes the critics, like you said, they're a little bit rough, man. But
Yeah.
for me, I don't know. Maybe it's just a kid in me, and that's
Yeah.
kind of like what we grew up on. We're like, yeah,
Yeah.
thrive off of that.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
that's what it is for me. It's just I just enjoy watching the movies. It's just for me and the wifey, like ever since we've been dating and engaged, married, like before the kiddo, like we'd go to movies every weekend, once a week. It's a
Mm-hmm.
little harder now, with bedtime
Yeah.
routines, babysitters, but whenever we do get a chance, we go.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, no, that's I remember when we were kind of playing late night video games,
yeah,
John. We don't get to do it as often now because our lives
yeah,
so consumed with children. But you were always kind of my go-to of like, oh, what was your reaction with that movie? Did
yeah,
you like it? I'm sure John's seen it,
yeah.
He was
and
on
You
you're
guys
Rotten
always
were,
quick to see him.
Tomatoes.
yeah. Yeah, it's rotten pineapples for me.
Oh, yep, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, but
The
I always
live version.
remember, yeah, I'd always remember coming home from the movies at like 11, 12 p.m. And then I was telling the wife, all right, I'm going to go log in. And you guys were still playing, so continue gaming. Yeah.
Go, I'm sure they're up.
Yeah.
You're like,
And then
Daniel, how many kills did you get today?
yeah.
2.
What's that KD ratio?
Hey,
And
we'll
was
talk
the one
about
that's
that
all
later.
happy winning.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
then
was
the
just
last
there for
movie.
support.
Yeah. Last movie I just wanted to bring up before we just go on to other topics is Borderlands. That movie's coming out this year. I think it's August.
Okay.
Have you guys played the games before?
Not
Briefly.
really, man. Yeah.
No.
I think, yeah, like potentially very briefly, but I
Yeah.
heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, they're fun games. I'm somewhat excited. I think the actors they put in it could have been differently.
Okay.
Kevin's Hart character, he's funny, enjoy his movies, but that character, like in the video game, he's like double his size, Kevin Hart size. So I'm like, gotta pick someone else, Terry
Think about
Crews,
that. Yeah.
more built.
There you go.
But like I said, I'm excited to see it. Seeing a lot of the previews for it, looks just like the video game. So we'll see how it is.
Yeah,
Well,
hopefully it's kind of like Last of Us.
Yeah.
That
now
was
that you mentioned, like, go
that was
ahead.
good. No, I thought Last of Us was pretty well planned out and actually followed the game pretty damn well. So I was happy about that. I was like, all right, cool, and they just got approved for season 2.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. So yeah, so that should be cool. Sorry,
Yeah,
Tim,
no,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. That was probably more me doing that. My bad. No, but it's always cool when movies can, kind of hit home on, what a video game did for somebody, I think that's kind of tough to do because I'm sure the critics you know, are even harsher about that. You're like, no,
Yeah.
you know, kind of like John mentioned, like, you know, the character matching might not be the best. And, you know, right off the bat, you're going to be, you know, already thinking about that. But with Borderlands, is that with, now that you mentioned Kevin Hart, is that going to be like kind of funny, or is it more of like an intense?
It's gonna be funny. I think, you
Okay,
know, even the video game, like video game was action, but it was fun. Like it was just a fun game to play, you know.
for
So I
sure.
see a lot of comedy in it, which I think if they hit well with the comedy, it's gonna be a banger. If the
Mhm.
comedy falls dull, yeah, it could ruin the movie a little bit. But it's also the story. We'll see if it matches the video game.
For
You know,
sure.
I think there's three of them. You know, one of our friends, Jonathan Petboy, he plays that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
He's
he's
like,
big
I'm
on
riding the
action.
horse, guys. I'm riding the horse.
Oh, he's obsessed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
But,
Yeah, no, that's good. You know, I guess, you know, I'll jump into, you know, a topic. I was kind of going back and forth between a couple of them. But you know, kind of, you know, I just love and adore sports, so I think that's the direction I'm going to take it. But you know, my topic was, I know Daniel, you know, you're kind of getting up to speed, you know, on a lot of the MLB stuff. Sorry, this question is going to be a little bit about baseball, but you know, you've been around, you know, sports your whole life as well, so I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll be just fine. But so my big thing is, you know, steroids in baseball. You know, everybody's so, you know, back and forth, you know, calling them cheaters. You know, sometimes, you know, people feel like, you know, steroids are not, you know,
yeah.
Hall of Fame. So, you know, I just kind of want to get your guys' opinion on it. You know, me being a Giants fan, you know, Barry Bonds,
Barry Bonds.
you know,
Yeah.
steroids can't teach a swing, and that swing was
Yeah.
so quick to the ball. And you know, AT&T Park, well, I still call it AT&T Park, it's still a tough ballpark to hit the ball out of, and he still managed to do it 73 times in 1 year. So
Yeah.
you know, steroids are not, in my opinion, I think that was such a fun era of baseball. You know, just the amount of home runs that were hit. You know, it was just entertaining, high scoring games.
It was.
You know, that's just my feel on it. I think that they should go in the Hall of Fame personally, but you know, certainly I want your guys' opinions on it too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they should still be considered for the Hall of Fame. You know, I don't think it should really, you know, not let them even get close to it. Cause like Barry Bond, Mark McGuire's, you know, during the times we were kids, they were Sammy Sosa, like big
Yeah,
baseball players, big hitters, and that's why everybody tuned into a lot. Well, why a lot of people tuned into baseball, seeing those records be broken. And
100%.
yeah, like you say, you know, I try to play baseball. I suck at it. I can't hit the ball at all, and that's, you know, you share that example. Like, you can't teach someone how to swing. You know, it's about the swing, getting it accurately. You know, yeah, having the muscle probably helps it get a few more feet, but if you don't have a swing, like, doesn't matter how big your muscles are. I don't think it's gonna get you anywhere.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, and I agree, dude, because I have a guy that I coached with soccer, biggest baseball guy ever. His nephews, they all play for Moore Park High School. They're, you know, they're all big on baseball, and something that I've seen him do with his nephews and even his family in itself, they're like big baseball people. That swing and just minor adjustments. And they're practicing out there one day, and you know, his brother-in-law was like, "No, you got to, you know, move a little bit more this way and tad bit that way." And again, like kind of like what you guys said, you can't teach the swing. So I agree, man. I think they should be able to be in the Hall of Fame. And on top of that, too, um, Will Fuller and wide receiver football. And I'll say this as a like general statement, so it kind of applies to all of the sports, right? He got busted for, you know, steroids allegedly, right? But he was seeing a medical professional for him to get better, and the medical professional or the doctor at that time didn't know what was allowed allegedly again. But then he was penalized for it, right? And so, I mean, you have to look at it in that aspect too. Is that happening the same with baseball, right, or any other sports? You know, what you know, is it really their fault? And you know, unfortunately, they just suffer the consequences for that too.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and that's actually a great example, Will Fuller. I mean, when that guy's healthy, I mean, good grief. I mean, that guy,
Yeah.
he'll just touchdown after touchdown, deep plays.
Yeah.
Man, he was a stud. And that's another thing, it does protect you from, and performance enhancers do protect you from, injury issues, injury woes. They really just held your body together, especially with something like baseball. I think that they came down pretty harshly on it because it is 162 games. In and of itself, to complete a season is rigorous. So I like we all mentioned, it's such a tough topic to kind of try to convince somebody what's yes or what's no for the Hall of Fame. But like we mentioned, it can't teach you swing, can't teach you eye vision, with keeping track of the ball. It's hard to hit 80 miles an hour, let alone 102, and be able to smack it dead center. So
yeah, because you got to be able to hit it right on this right spot for it to even go that far.
Absolutely.
If you hit it wrong, you're gonna get ground balls. You're not gonna get anything. So they had the skills. Did they use it maybe for a little bit of an advantage? Probably. Who knows? Only they do. But I think overall, if it was me, if we could make the decision, I think we'd let them all be in the Hall of Fame because they deserve it. They were trendsetters and they really changed baseball, and they're the face, a face of baseball back then.
Absolutely.
And you know how hard it is to get that sweet spot on that bat? Intensely hard. And like you said, the speed of the ball, the actual swing itself, and hitting it in that tiny little sweet spot in that bat, man, that's intense.
There's a reason why 3 out of 10 times is considered good. It ain't easy. It's such a tough skill. It's a tough sport to play. But another thing is that I've heard a lot of whether it's on ESPN or major networks, they're talking about do they want to put an asterisk next to some of these players' names once they get in the Hall of Fame? Quite frankly, I'd be honestly fine with that as long as they're in. Their statistics are held with integrity, and what they did for the game, because like you guys mentioned, Sammy Sosa is another one. That guy was so lively. He'd hit a home run, do that big jump right after. That's just fun baseball.
That's the baseball when I was a kid watching all the time, enjoying watching them. So and like I said, same thing. If there's an asterisk on it, I'm cool with it. They got in, they deserved it. It's sort of like the COVID season, Lakers winning the champion in the bubble. People say to put an asterisk. Well, they still won it. They got it. They're champions. You can't take that away from them. Dodgers, they won it during that COVID time. But hey, we won it, so we're all proud of that.
That's
people can
true.
talk smack about it, but hey, we won it. You guys haven't. So
100%.
like I say, I'm cool with that.
I'll just segue into the next hot topic here that I kind of picked out. Mine's totally different as well. For me, it's like sports memorabilia, collectibles, things like that, right? I love collecting different items, especially for football. I sent these guys a picture of my collection in my walk-in closet. It's like wall to wall, like all on top, where my wife was just like, bro, you got to stop buying stuff. Like you're not allowed to buy stuff. If you want to buy more things, you got to give a couple away. I actually ended up giving a couple of things away. I'm more into cards now because they take up a lot less space. And
smart man.
And they're really expensive still, though. I just bought a box the other day, $60, and I mean, nothing really too big, right? But football also is very hard to get card pull. So my question to you guys, I know we were discussing this earlier today, man. How do you guys feel about like those auctions, those 10-minute auctions that you guys are doing? And how do you guys feel about like those people paying absurd money or overpaying on those cards that are, I mean, some of them are even paying double, I think we saw, right? And it's just kind of like a head scratcher. Like, are they doing their homework? What are they doing? How do you guys feel about that? Or like for us that are actually like collectors, or, a lot of novice people probably coming in and like, yeah. And just like, what are you doing, man?
My feeling, it's like, I'm just curious who they are. Like if they're resellers, like trying to make a profit, like paying more than what the highest card value has been sold, it's not a smart investment, because you're gambling a lot of money hoping that card's going to go up in value, and the only way it goes up in value is for them to have hot seasons, win Super Bowls, MVPs, things like that. And if you think about it, every sport there's only one of those every year, so
Yeah.
you could hit a dud. For those that are like collectors like us, I do it, I think, more now for collecting. I think if I get a hot card, yeah, I'm going to try to resell it and probably just buy more packs, but like it's almost like with the shoes, I collect a lot of shoes. You can see all of my Jordans and stuff, and all of these I've always just hit luckily in those raffles. I do have like 7 emails that I use for all those raffles, but like there's those resellers though that have like those bots, and then they sell the shoes for like 3-4 times the price, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay that much for shoes that I'm not reselling. I'm here to wear them. I wear all my shoes. My shoes have scuffs. They're creased. I think if those shoe collectors see my shoes, they won't be too happy, but it's like, that's why I buy my shoes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us do it too, right? For that collection. For me, it's more like my goal is to get one item from every single team, right?
Yeah.
And when things like that happen, you're like, oh man, you're killing me, Smalls,
Yeah, no, it's funny with this topic. I feel like Danny's definitely the man for sports memorabilia questions, and you're a little savant over there. John's my movie guy and you're my card guy. But like recently I kind of started getting into it, I think around the same time as when John brought up that he was he went up and picked up a pack of wet Monopoly prisms, I think it was. And then Daniel's always talked about it though. So, he always made it seem so interesting. He's like, oh, I have this autograph helmet. Fidel got that Clinton Portis jersey, which, Clinton Portis back in the day was so much fun to watch. So, it's cool stuff to think about. And we've had this Jordan jersey since the late 90s. It's just been in our family for years and years. So that's, it's always been fun to have. It's kind of a talking piece when, folks come over, and, luckily I got the hand me down. We're going to the next generation here, and, my household is taking it over now. But stuff like that, it's just memories. It's when a player retires, you have stuff to remember them by also, so it has sentimental value, and then there's monetary value. So you guys have brought up the point of it's really just an investment with a lot of these things. I guess now the big thing is the color of the card. Does it have graphics on it? And sometimes it doesn't really matter who the player is. It's
all
just
the refractor
rare,
cards, all that stuff.
So pristine, that auction website has been it's been fun, but it's a dangerous game over there. But smart money wins for sure. Know your bounds, know your stopping points. If you 10 minutes, sometimes you have enough time to quickly look up something, and just make sure you're in the right place, because I know we talked about it a lot where some of these folks are paying way over value, and then you're kind of caught in maybe holding the value. Maybe it means, or holding the card, or whatever it is. But
like I said, the only time I think it's okay to pay over value, it's like if you really want it, like if that's one of your favorite players, like that's the one thing you've always wanted in your house, passed down for generations, like go for it. But if you're doing it to try to make a profit, things like that, like I don't think it's worth paying double.
And this something I recommend is just do your homework. Something that I did for maybe like 2-3 months in regards to this, man, was I would look up all the different cards, what their true values were, potential for growth. Is this player declining? What's the market? How's the market reacting to these different players and cards too? I just got a whole box of like these 1990 Don Russ cards. I'm like, like brand new box, super cool. And I go to the card shop right here locally, and I'm like, hey man, are these any good? And he's like, junk wax era. These all are worth nothing. He's like, I was like, oh, he's like, just have fun opening all the decks, man. Just really, he's like, to pull something here. He's like, oh man, you'll be one lucky guy. But
Wow.
I left it at that. He goes, yeah, all the cards from like 1990 to 94, baseball, were just junk wax. They call it junk wax era because they're just not really worth much at all. But
Good to know. I would have been fooled. For
yeah,
sure.
I'll tell you that I was all excited. I was like, yeah, man. I go in there thinking I'm cool, and I'm like, what, what are these? He's like, oh, junk wax era. I'm like, can tell me more.
Are those the ones that come with like that piece of gum in them as well?
I know they have the puzzle cards.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, I should have had it on hand, but yeah, I'll
no,
text,
that's fun.
I'll text my wife to bring it to me. So I can show you guys.
I was gonna say if you had one of those gum packets, I'd on screen make you eat one. Just kidding.
Questionable, man.
Turned into dust.
Right.
Would have been funny. But no, that's interesting. Stuff like that. You'd think like an old pack, like, hey, I'm gonna hit some gems in here. People haven't seen these cards in a long time. Lo and behold, I guess they're worthless. So I wonder who kind of is the market maker of that. That's interesting.
But the one thing I'll say with that is like you never know what might happen in 20 years. 20 years, those cards may be worth something. Like I think about Pokemon. Like I used to collect Pokemon as a kid. I asked my mom to see if she still had them somewhere. She said she's gonna look because she may have my box somewhere. She either has it or she gave it away. But in my head is like back then I was like, as a kid, I never thought these were gonna be as valuable as they are today.
Like something big, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, I remember I had some hollow Charizards. I'm like, man, if I would have them right now, I'd be rolling in the money, But
yeah, I know, like, same thoughts.
And a grade 7, I think. Last time I checked, the grade 7 hollow Charizard, which is like not that great, and then the card grading, I think it's over like $500, $600, $700, $800, depending on the market, because it's all kind of like the stock market too, right? Some days are worth more than others, but they're like about $700, $800. And then these are the cards I was telling you about. These Donruss. All these nice. But I mean, I left it closed. It's not. I'm just like.
They look legit.
Yeah, it's legit. Well, the puzzle card that it comes with, I saw a couple go on eBay for like $250, but I'm like, I think I'd just rather keep it sealed and
see what happens in a few years. You never know.
Yeah, like John said, wait 20. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. My brother-in-law works for a moving company, so he's always meeting people, throwing away cards and things. I'm like, dude, just send them my way.
You're like, I'll look through that whole box full of cards.
Oh yeah,
you never know.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I had a similar thought or talk with my dad, because I was telling him, a big reason why I kind of wanted to start doing this too was to kind of introduce some sports, and the cards look really cool these days, so trying to get my son interested in it. And I brought up the topic with my father, and I'm like, man, I wish we would have saved those binders, because I had like a Pokemon binder, I had just like everybody, and had the baseball, basketball, football binder. It's definitely gone, incinerated, who knows. But just thinking about those cards, it's a crazy thought, like what could have been. Or my dad said the same thing. He's like, oh, I wish I had mine too. I'm sorry, it's not an accurate representation of your voice, Dad. Sorry. But it's just funny, how things have changed, because cards were kind of dull for a while, I feel like, and then COVID hit, and what a hobby it is now. It's fun.
Yeah, so we'll go on to our next segment, and that's really just things we've done during the week, events we've gone to, venues, just stuff like that. And like the one thing Daniel sort of mentioned it, been to a lot of concerts just this last month. Went to the Hollywood Bowl twice, been to Kia Forum, saw the Lion King, the 30th anniversary. I don't know if you guys heard about the Northwest little performance. Saw that live first night. Went to Avril Lavigne. Went to Café Tacuba. Spanish rock. So me and the wifey, we've done a lot of that recently because we really enjoy, you know, and seeing people we like to see, you know, artists, you know, we like hearing the music and seeing them live. It's just a different experience, you know, doing it at least once for some of these favorite artists that we have. So Avril was a cool experience, you know, for me. The craziest and most insane in concert experience was Taylor Swift. You know, we went to that at SoFi Stadium, amazing stadium. If you guys haven't been there, really do
I love it
recommend
there.
checking it out. But the energy for that Taylor Swift concert, I was just like, this is insane. It was awesome. You know, I know a few songs, you know, but I was like, I became a fan after that night.
Absolutely. I know. Same here. We went to go see the Eras tour over at Levi's. Can't say it's the same, you know, vibes as SoFi is over there. But you know, Levi's it was a great night. You know, it was like God, probably mid-70s, you know, crystal clear outside. It was the perfect night for an outdoor concert. But just the experience of it, you know, my wife Jen has been, you know, a fan of hers for years and years and years. And you know, she was just, you know, even getting the tickets was an experience in and of itself, as everybody knows. But you know, just being able to go there and finally experience it. And, you know, I could tell that, you know, it was a super memorable night, you know, for both of us. So but yeah, what a concert. And then recently I think I read, you know, people were talking about the duration of the concert. And you know, I think it was upwards of what, 3 hours?
3 hours.
This is a long one.
Is, yeah, I mean, phenomenal for her fans. You know, she knows how, you know, near and dear, you know, they are. And you know, the amount of, you know, pay that it takes to get there. So you know, at least she, you know, lives it up and you know, truly gives on a good show.
Did she have anyone open up for her, or is it just all her?
She does. I can't remember their names though.
Yeah, I think she had 2 opening acts. Yeah. So yeah.
No, they were good.
I was gonna say that's a long concert, especially if she had other people opening up for her too.
Yeah. We speaking of opening acts, we saw T Swift the first time in Staples Center back when she was, you know, kind of a little bit more up and coming, but she was already pretty big. And Ed Sheeran was her opening. And, you know, we were in the arena during his opening act, but we were just not at our seats. We're kind of just trying to get some, you know, merch or food or whatever it was. And we're like, oh man, we don't really want to see the opening act. We don't really care. We just want to see Taylor. But no, Ed Sheeran becomes huge and we're like, dang, we probably should have listened. But you know, you never know. You know, it's really cool. It's a lot of, you know, ways where people, you know, kind of break into the industry.
That's really cool. I just saw Sean Paul the other day.
Nice.
Older guy, nothing crazy. You know,
old school right there.
Yeah, it was at the Hollywood Palladium. We got it with the T-Mobile Tuesdays had the $25 tickets.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And my wife was like, dude, do you want to go? And I'm like, let's do it. It's $25 each. The parking was worth both of our tickets. Let me tell you that. Yeah, the parking was $50. And we're like, how? Make it make sense, you know. But total cool concert, you know, a lot of smoke being blown there. It was a different experience, right? And it's pretty cool. He brought out I don't know if you guys seen the movie One Love with Bob Marley. The main actor, I think his name is Kingsley. He brought him out. He did a performance. There were other actors and reggae performers. So it was such a cool vibe, a whole different experience than the concerts that I'm used to, because I'm more of like a rap or hip hop type deal, or if it's not rap or hip hop, it's like System of a Down and Linkin Park, you know, kind of.
That's a big switch right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say
to some hardcore rock, heavy metal.
Yeah, so, but it was really cool experience, man. Everyone there was like super mellow, super chill. And this is my first concert since after COVID. So I was like, you know, it was a good way to get me back into the groove of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, just concerts in general are so much fun.
Yeah.
We haven't been in a long time. I mean, Eras Tour is the most recent one, but besides that, you know, it's just, you know, it's how do you
something
top that you know, exactly. Right now, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I think the only way to top Era's tour is to find a concert of someone you've always heard, you know. Like for
Mhm.
Vera Avril, like she's been listening to that since Avril came out, you know, things like that. So
Mhm.
and like I said, it's the experience for me. The last Wednesday, Café Tacuba, you know, they were opening up for Caifanes, and Café Tacuba, I've been a fan since forever. So like for me, that was awesome. That experience at the Hollywood Bowl. If you guys haven't been to the Hollywood Bowl, amazing venue, man. Like, you know, we normally say like towards the middle, packs all the way at the back is like $25, but still just the vibe, the setting, you know, the energy from everybody. It's awesome.
Is
Awesome
it true
place to
that they
go.
let you bring your own like wine or things like that?
So it for Hollywood Bowl, it just depends. You know, if it's a Hollywood Bowl like sponsored event, you
Mhm.
can bring in your own wine. They call it if it's a lease event, you can't bring in your own wine, but you can bring in your own food. So you can bring in like a cooler with food. You just have to buy alcohol there. They sell wine bottles, so you could buy, you know, a little bit pricier, but
Yeah.
man, you could buy a whole wine bottle, go sit at your you know, chair and area,
Have a night.
eat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I,
That's a cool place that I really enjoy going to.
how is it getting in and out though? Because I've seen it
Get
get pretty crazy.
Getting in is easy, getting out is where it sucks. They do the stacked parking, so if you're parked behind cars that haven't left, you're just sitting in your car. So
Damn.
so on Wednesday
Yeah.
when we left, we sat in the car for 30 minutes before we could even move because of the cars in front of us.
Mm.
So it's insane. That's the one thing, you know, if you could take the shuttle, you know, we've never taken the shuttle. I always just get parking there just because it's easier walk, but you know, it might be more worth it. But traffic just is tough.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I heard people take metros there, and
Mm-hmm.
but I was just like, oh, what? How many people are really taking the metro, and how packed are they after too? You
But
know?
there's a lot of people that take the metro, take Ubers there because I don't think they have enough parking for like all the seats, you know. So
Makes sense. Yeah, it seems like such a great venue. I haven't been, but yeah, just the photos you even sent recently.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was like thinking like, oh, is it the same concert you're at? Because I mean, you went like what 2, 3 times in 1 week or a
uh,
couple weeks span?
it
it
was
felt
like
like that.
it
Yeah,
was
I was like,
every
wow.
other week. So we went
Oh, there
one
you
week
go.
for Lion King, then the next week we went to Avril at Kia Forum,
Mhm.
and then we went back to Hollywood Bowl for Cafe and Caifana. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, that's fun. How's the
And
forum? Is that still holding up?
well, it's holding up well for a concert. It's not bad actually. You know, it was the first time I go to the Forum for a concert,
Okay.
and the seats we got, you know, not the best, but still great view. You know, it
Yeah.
wasn't bad at all.
do you feel like it's getting a lot of more attention now that SoFi is like right next door?
I think so. You know, I think it's still one of the popular venues for concerts. I think the other one that's opening up is going to be Intuit Dome, so the
Oh
Clippers home stadium.
yeah,
Yeah, that one's opening up. They have YouTube Theater right next to SoFi, so a smaller theater. So
Mm.
they have a lot of stuff there.
for that Clippers dome, should we call it? I feel like that might be the death of the Kia Forum, though.
It could
Yeah.
be. I think Kia Form until they, you know, it doesn't hold up,
Mhm.
they'll still hold it up. They'll still have it because during the season of like basketball, Kia Form is going to be the spot to, you know, do a lot of those smaller concerts.
That's true. And also, I was thinking, I think what's holding the Kia Forum up is all the parking for SoFi.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Mhm.
remember a while back when I went to the Georgia TCU game, the championship game. I think
Oh
it
yeah,
was like last year. Um, that whole parking lot was full. Like I
yeah,
kid you not, and the parking was $120 a
yeah,
Ooh,
car. So
yeah.
I mean, it's just
dang.
for sure. I think that's what's probably keeping them afloat.
Yeah, and it'll keep them afloat, I think,
Mhm.
because they're always going to price it. People are going to pay that to not have to park, you know, 3 miles away. Because once you go a few blocks down, you know, from any of those stadiums, it's not the best area to go leave your
Yeah,
cars, you
the
know. So
neighborhoods are tough.
yeah, so you're gonna want to leave it in one of those areas. So
You'd be surprised though. I've seen people like hold up signs to their like
mhm.
driveway, $50
Yeah,
parking, and you're like, you know, you seem like a nice person, but the neighborhood isn't quite the best, you know.
yeah. Yeah, you
That's
always see
crazy.
that.
And another way to put it too, if the forum's still up, you just got to think if the Coliseum in Oakland is still up, you know, the forum's probably just fine.
Yeah.
You know, talk about a stadium that's seen its better days.
Yeah.
They still do concerts there from time to time, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm sure it's night and day. I haven't been to the forum personally. I walked by it one time because I think it's close to the Coliseum, right? All kind of in the same area, if I'm not mistaken. Or am I totally off?
No. Yeah, no,
Okay,
you're
my
off.
bad. I'm just visualizing a different dome, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, no, that's cool. I've never been,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's my point of reference for stadiums. If the Coliseum's still up, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything else is doing just fine.
Yeah. Segueing into the next topic, it's what we do in our text message group. I think, is where we banter a little bit, call people out, you know.
For sure.
One of the things I think I was texting you today, Tim, or in the group
Mhm.
message, seeing some of these Brock Purdy cards going for like almost 170, and I'm like, who's paying that much for
There's
Brock
a lot
Purdy?
of people paying that, man. I'm telling you. I was in the card shop like maybe a month ago, and this kid, he's like, "Dad, I want this box," and the dad's like, "No, no." So he ends
Mhm.
up copping up the $80, right? Pulls a Brock Purdy, and it's worth like 250, $300.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's a hot commodity right now,
Yeah.
man. Like,
And I think it's just really asking Tim, like, what do you really think of that, Tim? Brock Purdy, your quarterback, 40,
Yeah.
49er
Top two
fan.
quarterback in the league is what I think.
Oh, top two.
Easy money.
Take
I
it
mean,
take it down a bit. Top two.
I'll
I
put
don't know
Mahomes
about that.
above him, but kid has confidence. Obviously he's taken us to a Super Bowl. I mean, we have a hell of a team around him too, and I think that's been a blessing for him. But just kid has composure. I think that there's more high hopes this year, and hopefully we'll come out on top because it's been, a little upsetting the last two visits we had there, and
join the club.
yeah, as a Cowboy fan.
That
but
man's the reason why I was upset.
Oh yeah, but no, I mean, I definitely get the hype. But I think it's just the hype around the team in general too. It just, and quarterbacks obviously, the biggest thing on the field. So I mean, yeah, you make it to a Super Bowl, sure as heck. I think that your card's going to be worth something. Just like Mahomes.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud might be well on his way. That card's getting super
Mm.
pricey. I mean, it's been
Richardson
pricey,
too.
but Richardson, yeah, he's a fun
Richardson,
player.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but yeah, no, that's I believe it. Number 2 quarterback in the league. So
Hey, big ups to that guy though. I have a lot of respect for Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I've told you that too, Tim.
Yeah.
And it hurts my soul saying it because I'm the biggest Cowboys fan. But that kid is good, man. That kid's gonna be in the league a long time.
Yeah, no, I certainly hope so. Obviously, we're gonna have to pay him, and that's gonna change some things. But he's been worth it. Just his story in general is super cool. Last pick of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, definitely living up to anything but. So what a cool story. What a cool kid. He seems like he is. So, yeah, no, I mean, happy he's on our side.
Yeah. I love how humble he is, man. I think that's why I got to put some respect on that kid.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of his life. He super well spoken. I will say that, I think he can smack talk, but I feel like he does it like in a small way. He says like 1 or 2 words and it's like, ooh, that's good from you.
Yeah.
No, he's just he seems like a cool human being and a good person. So, what a cool guy to have around. But yeah, no, excited to say the least. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I know a big thing for you guys against me was me convincing myself that we were going to win it all. I know that's been Daniel's favorite thing in the whole wide world.
I think you're convincing yourself, but I think people like the world's convincing everybody because I read somewhere that the only team favored to win every single game is the 49ers this year in the NFL. Like, only team, but I have my doubts. I think I always have my doubts.
Yeah, I mean, for sure we'll lose at least, maybe one of them, just only one. No, I'm just
I'm thinking like
but
no more than 3 this season, honestly, from a truthful perspective. I think you guys will probably lose no more than 3.
no, I hope so. I'm hopefully everything gets figured out with the Ayuk situation, but we added some, good wide receivers. I mean, we just re-signed third and Juan. He's such an awesome guy to have around. That dude's just so clutch. And then Pearsall, he has just his catches he made in college. It looks like he's going to be a really fun talent to watch. But like I said, hopefully everything gets figured out with Ayuk and he's on the field and happy and ready to go win the ship. But we'll see. It'll be a fun season. I will say it now too. First episode. I'm convincing myself again we are going to win the Super Bowl this year. So, I'm sure you will too, Daniel. I know it's your year. So.
Nah, that's something that I never said, man.
That's every cowboy. Every cowboy. That. This is our year.
Not this cowboy.
For sure. I know you. At least you're like a humble cowboy fan. You know what you guys got. But for sure you're going to defend your team no matter what. So I appreciate that.
My prediction this year for Super Bowl is going to be the Niners against the Texans. I would love to see that. And wow. I'm calling it now. I hope it comes to fruition, man. But my money's on the Texans.
Texans got AFC is just a tough route, man.
It is a tough route, man. But the way they played last season, I feel like they're gonna come back. They're a very young team, and they're gonna come back pretty strong. I feel like they have great opportunity.
Yeah, they got Diggs now, so
true. That sophomore slump is a thing, though.
Yeah.
It really is.
CJ's really good, though. I don't know.
but if you, to kind of contradict you there, Brock Purdy had a great sophomore.
Hey, touche.
So so we'll see what happens.
Eat my own words. That's super true. But like John said, with him being a Ravens fan, I think that that AFC's it's tough.
Yeah, I have my Ravens up there. Like I say, I think if we stay healthy, Ravens will be there with the 49ers. That's my guess. Ravens 49ers rematch of, I don't even remember how many years ago that we beat you guys, but do it again.
Yeah. Hardball Bowl. Yeah, that was rough too. God. Well, if we tried turning off the lights, it worked a little bit.
Almost worked that time.
We'll do what we can. We'll use all our resources.
They'll make it work.
Right. And then kind of I guess with this little bantering topic, I think we had like a little friendly little bet going. Me and Fidel had the under on wins for Cowboys this year. I think we're predicting what was it, 8 and below, and then you had the over.
I had the over.
Okay,
and so I think we did 20 or 40. I don't remember. I think it was 40.
I think it was 40 each party. So yeah. Just a friendly little thing. See what happens. But it would be weird to see Cowboys under 500. I'm just saying that's a little bit better division. Washington got a little bit better. Maybe, but I don't know. It's a rookie quarterback.
Based off our offseason, man, not a fan of Jerry Jones. He did absolutely nothing. He still has CeeDee Lamb. Hasn't restructured that contract or extended that contract. It's not looking good, man. And he's already holding out too. He said he's not gonna show up until he gets paid. Man, and we saw what Jettas just got paid.
Yeah, that's the big thing. They're eating it because by not signing, and all of the other players getting humongous contracts. Same thing's gonna happen with Dak if you guys want him again too. So
everyone's happy about Zeke coming back too, and I'm just like, love the guy. Don't get me wrong. My second son's middle name is Ezekiel.
Nice. So
it's middle name Ezekiel, and he's big like him, too. So, but it's just like, man, like you could have probably done a little bit better. I think they're saying Rico is going to be our Dowdle. Is going to be our running back one. Not too bad, but is it the best?
I'm liking Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, I was about to say,
hey.
Deuce Vaughn, just play him.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Well, that's my dream.
Like Darren Sproles.
Remember, I mean, that's the first thing I said last year, right? I was like, Darren Sproles. If Fidel was here, he'd be like, "Shut up."
Yeah, no, Fidel would have been big mad right now, no doubt. Yeah, he hates that comparison.
Dude, I think Deuce Vaughn has a lot. What he reminds me of is last year with the Ravens, Keaton Mitchell. Like I picked him up early. I think if he wouldn't have, got injured, tore his ACL, like he would have been number one. I don't even know if we would have gone for Henry. We might have gone a different route.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Yeah. No, that's an interesting backfield now too for you guys.
One. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the little speed demon. Same with is it A-Chain or is it
Devon A-Chain in Miami?
Yeah. And another one. I mean, but he's in the mix with Mostert, but interesting backfields over there, no doubt.
So I'm saying AFC is going to be tough. Like I can't. I'm always going to go with my Ravens. I want them to be in the Super Bowl and win it. But they're going to have to battle just our division, AFC North, Bengals, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and us. Like that's the toughest group.
I'm glad though that the Ravens are really starting to take care of Lamar because they're beefing up their running game. They're not utilizing him for the run. And my fear with that was like, man, his career is going to end soon, because he's just going to get banged up. But I'm glad that they're actually took care of that problem.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, hopefully our wide receivers this year are decent and do better. Zay Flowers not making some rookie mistakes, in the big games.
That was rough.
Rashad Bateman, I hear a lot of rumors that it's his breakout year, and I think it is. He's last 2 years he's been improving, but we need him to step up.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's becoming the up there in his career.
Yeah,
and he needs to start making those moves.
This is a contract year for him too, right? This is going to be his third season now.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him out of Minnesota. There's really high hopes for him. I think I don't know if I was in. I know I took a little bit of a hiatus now from the fantasy league, but I remember his rookie year. I can't remember if it was here or previous, where I did pick up Bateman in one league, and I'd high hopes for him, but he just didn't perform as well as everybody thought. But hopefully, what a talent, he seems like he can be. So
and with that you said, Tim, we go on to our next topic. We have our little daily fantasy hot takes. And we have this fantasy group. We've been going on, it's like 15 years. It started small with like my little personal friend groups, and then as we grew, friends, from all the different people joining the family, friends we make up elsewhere. Like we're at a 14-man league now.
Yeah, 14.
So it's one of the bigger groups. It's a deep league. Really cool though, because we just have fun, and it's competitive because, like I say, we got money on the line, and that money helps. That money helps. Being a lot. Being what am I now? 4-time champion of this league.
It's ridiculous.
That money's nice.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
I remember you guys were mad. I think it was like the first or second year that I joined the league. It might have been the first actually, where you guys thought I got trade rate by 10, and we ended up with Andy and I ended up winning.
Yep, that was the Frank Gore for Dak Prescott trade.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Frank Gore on the Colts, right? If I remember right. Okay. Yeah, no, I was feeling really good about that, being a big Frank Gore fan too. He's just that guy that just keeps on chugging away, but hey, it paid off for you.
I was such a novice too. I only did it because I was a Cowboys fan. I wasn't, I wasn't really thinking with my mind right, but
Daniel was thinking cowboy everywhere. And who knows, that could work one year, you never know.
You never know. That's right. I think back in those Tony Romo Des Bryant days, you know, there was always like 450 yards and Des caught, you know, $150 of them. So,
yeah,
you know, you never know. Get a good combo like that.
Yeah,
you know,
that year I had Des Bryant too. So,
oh, wow. See, there you go.
yeah.
That'll do it.
Des Bryant and
the
Thielen. Thielen when he was, that's what I think his rookie year too, or
Sure.
I believe it was his rookie year.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, you get a combo like that and, you know, you feel invincible and super confident every week. You know, which is hopefully with this segment as we go on, I don't think we're going to be able to pull everything out of John's brain. But, you know, getting a little bit at a time, just kind of reeling it in a little bit. You know, getting what we can out of John and seeing why he's won 4 times. You know, maybe he just predicts the future. I don't know. He's got some type of strategy. Yeah, absolutely. You know,
what I will say, it's a lot of luck, because it is a lot of luck. You know, last year did pretty bad, but lost 2 of my top players, you know, in like week 2. So once you lose someone, you're injured, and if you don't have that week 1 waiver pickup, you know, last year the pickups were Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua. Like, you know, you're stuck with not much to pick up. You gotta work with scraps. So
especially with the deep league like ours.
Yeah, with 14-man league, like you gotta have some luck. A lot of skills, a lot of, you know, strategy, but it's also luck. So
yeah, no doubt. I think you know, if you maybe those later rounds you draft right, you get a lot of good support systems. You know, I will reference one year where, you know, my team name was Capioaz. Love that name. That's shrined for me. You know, and I picked Colin Kaepernick first round. You know, right off the bat, you know, everybody was like, what is this guy doing? Which, you know, still today it's a valid question. I don't know what I was doing, but you know, I think I still made the playoffs that year, surprisingly. But you know, it's you know, it's luck, as John mentioned. You know, it's a support system of, you know, who are you going to pick in the later rounds? You know, you get lucky with the injuries. You know, I think that's a big thing. It's heartbreaker if it happens the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I think, you know, future episodes we'll discuss, we'll bring up like positions, you know, we'll discuss what our top positions are, you know, mock drafts, getting ready. You know, we normally have our draft week 3 of preseason, just because it gives time for when the main starters play most of the games, and then they're just sitting, I think, week 3. You know, we don't want to risk injury drafting before the preseason and someone getting hurt, you know, your top player, your number 1 pick.
Absolutely, 100%. And then you know, maybe every once in a while, or are we going to mix some daily fantasy in too?
You know, I think, you know, all of us in California, we can't do sports betting, but I think we all do daily fantasy, you know, FanDuel, DraftKings, you know, that daily fantasy. So we'll bring some of our picks, you know, maybe we'll all put some money in our accounts, see who wins, you know.
I'm with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we could pick something live.
You
know, try to do something here. That'd be fun. Yeah, any sport, I'm down. I even tried golf the other day. I think I got like in the bottom 200 out of like a 10,000. So I don't know if I'll try it again.
No, the last time I got close to anything on FanDuel was when Le'Veon Bell was still playing.
Oh,
and
wow.
I got 3rd place, and I was a random lineup. Normally I copy my same lineup across the way. I didn't do it this time, and I ended up like 2nd or 3rd place, but it was for breast cancer one, and all they did was send you a care package, which I'm totally cool with, you know, because it's going to a great cause. But I was just like, oh man, I should have copied that over. I could have won some money.
Absolutely. Hey, well, you know, at least it was to a good cause, like you said. But you know, even sometimes just changing out one player makes all the difference in the world, and that's, you know, the crazy thing about it, just endless possibilities. So what makes it fun and competitive.
How do you guys feel about the NBA finals going on right now and all that stuff going? It's crazy, dude. The Celtics are dominating, and the first game was they're dominating.
The first game.
And then this the game today. Luka had a triple double, and he played great. But it's just like, I feel like White can't miss, Murray, or not Murray, Holiday is just playing at a whole different level. Tatum, I think they're saying is like the best player on the team right now. What do you guys feel about that?
What it's a good playoff so far. Celtics, I think, have the better. I feel they have a better overall team. Tatum is struggling, but yeah, Derek White, Holiday, Porzingis, man, Porzingis has stepped up. I think without him, they wouldn't have won that first game, and I think they wouldn't have won today. He had some key blocks, but and then Mavericks have a solid team, but they're just not playing well. Luka's doing everything. I think Celtics missed so many threes today, and they were still winning. It's like normally that wouldn't be happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a mix of a few things. I think, as you mentioned, the X factor has been Porzingis. That first game back, I mean, he was just a highlight reel. That dude was just getting it done at both ends. Clearly you see what they missed, but I mean, quote unquote missed, because they practically swept every series all the way there. And then that leads me into my next point of, it just seems like, Doncic in Irving were collecting all the Infinity Stones on their way to make it to the finals, going through just the Thunder, and then the T-Wolves after that. They had battle after battle, but here's the Celtics kind of skipping through. Teams they went against had injuries as well, so they certainly benefited, but props to them. They got it done when they had to, and didn't give up games that they should be winning. So they're fresh legs versus maybe fatigued legs on the other end. But we'll see. I guess there's been a lot of back and forth. We've seen series that go up 2-0, and then other team goes back home and starts winning 2 more, and we'll see.
And it turns to game Celtics. 7.
I think game 3 is going to be the big factor. I think if Boston can win game 3, they could sweep it. I think they have that good chance.
Absolutely.
If they give the momentum to Dallas could just creep up on you. So we'll
100%. See. Yeah, and it's all matchup based. I think like a good example was, the T-Wolves, for example, were built to beat the Nuggets, and then but they weren't built to beat a style like the Mavs, where you have Doncic running down the lane, or dishing out to Kyrie doing the same exact thing. It's just a different style of game versus forming a team around a big man who distributes as well, but a little bit slower. But yeah, it's all matchup based, and I think Porzingis being back is just, Celtics look really, really good.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Hate to say it, being from California, because we're not huge fans of them over here, but
my wife is, so I gotta
support. I was gonna say,
when my team is
John had some connection to
that's
to
a
the
good
Celtics.
point.
Yeah, if you look at my wife's Instagram, you'll see a lot of Celtics posts today with the kiddo. She had his green outfit on today, so
celebrate the wins, man.
We celebrate the wins in these homes.
There you go.
So, but yeah,
absolutely.
So weekly, we'll do our daily fantasy. We'll bring some topics, hot takes, things like that. So
100%. Yeah, it's a fun segment.
That's it. I think as we continue growing this, podcast, having our fans, people sharing what they want us to talk about, have topics for us to come discuss. Because like I said, we call it happy hour, huddle, because this is something we would probably do if we just all go out for a happy hour, if we'd all live close by, go out, talk about these sports, talk about movies, what we've done for the week, things like that. So, that's why we named our podcast Happy Hour Podcast, pod. So
absolutely.
So any suggestions people have, whoever's watching, whatever time you're watching, if you have a beer drinking, like joining the conversation, leaving comments, like, go for it, man. We appreciate that feedback. Like I say, we're doing this for fun. This blows up, straight up, great for us, but if we just do it for fun as a hobby,
we'll build a lounge. We'll just build a lounge.
We'll build a lounge, go into those live segments, having people join us,
Yeah.
So
I think that would be huge.
But for now, just people leaving comments, letting us know what you guys want to talk about, joining us in these conversations, listening to us talk. We really do appreciate you guys taking the time, because I think we're going on an hour and a half. It's a long one. We could talk forever.
Yeah,
You
no, see,
know?
it's that easy. And in the
Yeah.
back of my mind too, I'm like, wow, an hour seems like a long time, but at the same rate, I'm like, we love to talk. I
Yeah.
think that this is gonna
We
fly
could
by,
go
and
on
it's
for
an hour might not seem like enough.
yeah,
So here we are.
yeah. Yeah,
And then
no.
as John mentioned, sorry, eventually I know we'll try to do this, live, as we get, equipped and, a little bit more strategic with how the episode goes. I know
Mhm.
we're kind of naming everything out right now, but, we'll get the flow down, and, eventually as we go live, we'd love to, as John mentioned before too, just kind of take your thoughts, if you're having a drink, what are you drinking? Do you
Mhm.
recommend it? Do you hate it?
Yeah.
You have a question for one of us. Do you hate something we're wearing? Let us know. I don't care.
Do you have a
Yeah.
challenge for us? Yeah, even those things, right?
Yeah,
Or
but be
Yeah.
easy with it.
nothing
Yeah.
too crazy.
No, I'm just playing. Yeah, no, absolutely. Have fun with it. Like we're just a friend group. It's
Yeah.
something fun. This is exactly what we talk about. And
Mhm.
this doesn't change whether we're on a screen or whether we're out for a beer. So
Yep.
Now our wives are
100%.
gonna know this is what they really talk about.
Yeah, it is.
Boring.
I think that's the one thing we're giving everybody access to our text message group that we always thought was secretive,
100%. 100%. They're like, wow, this
But
is what it is.
yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, hey, and maybe some people won't be, but hey, we'll try to talk about absolutely everything and keep it, all
Mhm.
encompassing.
Yeah.
Because the buck doesn't stop at sports. Sports is, something we all love,
Yeah.
but there's many
Well,
other likes here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're all about entertainment. We all have those hobbies. We all, get suggestions. Like I say, Danny sports memorabilia collection. He's the
Mhm.
expert. We're Tim, me, we're probably a little bit more, getting into it. But
Amateur for
if you guys
sure.
want to hear, you guys want to see more of that, what I was telling Tim today, I was, I ordered some packs on eBay, from people that create their own packs that, say you could get a hit. So, maybe I'll open one of those up. If I hit, I'll let you know who it is so you guys could buy some.
There you
I
go.
don't hit, if I don't hit, I won't say anything. I'll probably just leave a comment, but on his
Mystery box
eBay
on
account. But like I
And
say,
then
it's a fun hobby to have, and it's something new for
Yeah.
me. So, any suggestions anybody has, please drop us a
Yep.
line. So we're here just to have fun. That's why we're doing this. So we appreciate everybody that took the time to listen, and give us time. Well, if you guys really enjoy it, let us know, and hit the follow button, hit the like button.
Yep.
We appreciate that. And yeah, I think we'll
Like and subscribe, please.
Yes.
Help us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Instant
100%.
boom.
Hit that alert bell or
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Just punch it real quick.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually we'll just do like pointing.
Yeah, wherever it is, whoever it is,
I'm pointing at like
Nah.
the exit button.
Yeah. No, but for
yeah,
sure,
we'll get it done.
like, subscribe, leave comments, follow our other social media pages. We'll have it in the descriptions, all our other pages. We'll always put some updates, some clips, teasers before we put out the full episodes. And like I said, you can leave comments there as well.
Perfect. I love it.
Awesome. Sweet.
This
Well,
is
thank
fun,
you,
fellas.
It was a good time, like a good first one.
Definitely.
Miss Infidel, but hopefully
Yep.
everything's going well.
You'll join
And
us.
Absolutely.
next week we'll have our whole group here, and every now and then maybe we'll invite some of our other random buddies if they want to join, be some guests.
Oh, speaking of which, I actually already have a coworker who really wants to join. Shout out Richie. Yep.
Richie.
Another Richie. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a Richie in the friend group, but another Richie.
Yeah.
And I have one that I think John might like. He works on movie sets.
Okay, sweet.
That'd be a fun one.
I was
Great idea.
I know you're a big movie guy, so he's worked on a few shows and a few movies.
Sweet.
So as we get down the pipeline, he's like, just him and his wife are like, just let us know whenever you guys kind of get settled down, and
yeah, for sure.
have fun.
Endless possibility, everybody. Endless possibilities here.
Sir.
Awesome. Well, thank
This
you,
is a
everybody.
forever goodbye, huh?
Yes. Yeah, it is. All right, hanging up
All right.
now. No, you hang up
first. Well, thank you, fellas, for hanging out.
Likewise.
It's always a fun time to talk, and to everybody watching, thank you, and see you guys next time.
Yes. See you next time. Thank you.
Later, guys.